Hello and welcome to this Rainmaker Digital Services webinar. I'm David Brandon, copywriter for Rainmaker Digital Services, and I'm joined today by Katy Barrilleaux, and she's the Vice President of Rainmaker Digital Client Services.
Hi, great to be with y'all today.
Thanks, Katy. In this webinar, we're going to be going over LearnDash. Now, LearnDash is one of the technologies you can use with your Rainmaker Platform Andromeda installation. You can use it to build courses. That is only Rainmaker Platform Andromeda, not Legacy. So this is an Andromeda specific option. Courses are a great way to build your reputation and establish yourself as an authority in your field. They can be intimidating when you're first starting out, but we're aiming to make them as simple as possible. We're going to walk you through a simple course on a subject near and dear to my heart, basketball. I've played a little bit of basketball. I enjoy watching it. And I figured since we're going to build a course on it, why not? It's jump shooting is one of the fundamental basketball skills, which I've taught before. And if I wanted to teach it to somebody online, as a coach or something like that, a course would be the easiest way to do it. So how would I go about it? So first things first, we're going to make sure that we have LearnDash and all the appropriate modules turned on. And for this, I've actually recorded a video in advance, which we will have up on the KB, the knowledge base. To get started with LearnDash, the first thing you're going to have to do is enable it. To do that, mouse over the gear icon in the upper right-hand corner of your screen and click Features in the drop-down menu. This will take you to the Modules, Add-ons, and Labs section of your site where you can enable and disable different features. You'll need to enable LearnDash. Scroll down the page and make sure that the box next to Enable LearnDash Module is checked. Then click Save at the bottom of the page. You'll then want to click the Add-ons tab to turn on a few other features. Make sure the check mark next to anything related to LearnDash is turned on. You may also want to turn on full-width page templates, which will allow for additional space for course layouts. Click Save at the bottom of the page. All right. So that is how you enable LearnDash. Again, we will make sure that you have that video if you need a hand making it clearer. I will mention as well, if you want to ask any questions while we're going here, there is a Q&A section. You can put your questions in there, and Katy and I will be able to see them. We'll have a Q&A section at the end where we'll address any concerns or questions that you have and make sure that you leave with a good understanding of how LearnDash can work for you. Alrighty. So now that we know how to turn on LearnDash, we're going to go over how to build that LearnDash course. We're going to shoot for a 4-lesson course here based around the fundamentals of jump shooting as I was taught them. We're going to look at balance, eyes, elbow, and follow through. And this isn't necessarily a shooting clinic that I'm conducting here. It's a LearnDash course that we're trying to teach. But if you walk away with some basketball skills, I won't complain. Those 4 tips work. We're going to go through those steps. We'll turn them into some lessons. We'll create a quiz at the end and hopefully have something useful that we can use for our customers or our clients. Okay, Katy, where can I start building this course?
So over in the left-hand menu, click on the content symbol, and you'll see a number of different options there. But scroll down until you see the LearnDash section.
Yep.
And first option is courses, so click on courses.
All right. And just like Martha Stewart, I have one in the oven already. So here we go. There's courses. All right. Now that I'm here, what do I do if I'm trying to build a new course?
So for a new course, you would click the Add New button to create a brand new one. Or if you're going to edit an existing one, then you can mouse over the title of the one you want to edit, and you'll see an option to edit.
All right.
You can choose which editor you want to use.
Cool. Yeah, and in this case, I'm just going to click on, since I have this course already mostly built out in here, I'm just going to click on the name. And that'll take me to the block editor, since that's what I used to put it together already. So from here, we can show you how to build the course. Here's the main course page. Actually, let me click this here. I'm in the builder. There we go. So when you click into that course or you begin a new course, this is the screen that you're going to see. This is the block editor screen, like any other page or something like that you would build in Rainmaker Platform. You have the same editing options. Here I put a little bit of content in. I have a title, a couple of lines here, and a little link. Yep, it works just like it does for the other pages. All right, Katie, what's the next thing that we need to do for this?
So I find the easiest thing to do is to work on the course structure first. So up
Okay.
in the tabs at the top of the page, click on Builder.
All right, Builder. Cool. There we go. There's Builder. This is where we can set up our course structure. So to use the Builder effectively, you need to understand course hierarchy. First, at the top is the course. The course is the upper level. It is the overarching theme of what you're teaching. So in this case, it's fundamentals of jump shooting, basically. The lessons are pieces that go under that. So that would be balance, eyes, elbow, and follow through, as you can see here. Next, if we open this up under balance, you can see there are topics under that. So my first topic would be form shooting, and my second would be off balance shooting. Plenty of other things we could throw under here, but these are the next down in terms of the hierarchy. And then you have quizzes, which can be dropped just about anywhere in here. You can put new quizzes under lessons and topics, or you can put, as you see here, a final quiz at the end. There's no real limit to, you can have as many quizzes as lessons and topics that you have. So those are the four categories, the pieces that make up a LearnDash course. So we're in a course right now. There's the 4 lessons, and I have a couple topics under that first lesson and a quiz at the end. If lessons already exist and you're adding them to a course, you'll see them in the sidebar over here. So you could add them through this. See, there's one there. The quick help is kind of in the way. Let me scroll that a bit. But yeah, you can see there's a little add button. It's kind of hidden there. If the lessons don't exist, you can simply add them here. You can click, there's a, let me close this up again. So for each section, you can add new lessons and new section headings from this top section. New quizzes is the final quiz. Then if you want to add anything under each piece, you click that little blue button at the right, and that will open and close each element. So under here, I could click new topic and add another topic. I could add a new quiz here. Let me show you quick. If I was to add a new topic, I could just say, foot position, and then just click add topic. So I click that blue button over there on the right hand side. I fill in the name of it in the text box, click the blue button, and in just a second here, you're going to see it come up right in the structure. It does take a minute. Don't worry about it. It does take a second for it to actually create it. And there we have our new topic. And it works just the same for every single piece in here. So now that we have our course structure mapped out, Katie, what comes next?
So the next thing you want to do is review the settings for the course.
Okay.
So it will look and behave how you want it to. So click on the Settings tab.
All right. There's settings. Cool. All right. What am I looking for here?
Well, there are a lot of settings here. you'll see that you can activate materials to display on the course using that slider bar. It may be PDFs or downloadable documents, links, anything you want to add that you want to have additional resources available on that course
Yep.
page.
And and
And
and you can see here I've got it turned on and there are some links there. Yep. Sorry, Katie, keep going.
yeah, and when you add those, then on the course page, it displays, it adds a materials tab where they can then click over and go see the materials.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Looking further down, you can, if you want to provide students with a certificate upon completion, you can associate the certificate here for this course. If you haven't created the certificate yet, then just come back here after you have the certificate created. And once a student has completed the course, then they'll see a banner on the course page with a download button to download their pretty little certificate that they've achieved. You can also show then for the course content, you can show the course's table of contents to everyone or just people who are registered.
Oh, sorry.
If a non-registered person visits the course page, they'll see the course table of contents, but the links will not be active.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can change the pagination of the courses if you have a lot of lessons in the course. You would do that right here on this page as well. And then we have the access settings, which are very important. This is where you control how people are going to access the site. So you could have an open course, which is free and open to anyone who visits. It doesn't require a login to access the course, but they do have to be logged in to track the progress. And anyone who registers with your site will automatically gain access to the open courses. So you need to keep that in
Mm.
mind. A free course does require registration, although no payment is required. So if you do have a free course and you want people to have to register to access it, then you're going to want to select the free option. And then lastly, we have the closed course, which will be a paid course and it requires registration with payment in order to access the course.
Right on.
And of course, you'll also want to integrate your LearnDash course registrations with MemberPress, which we covered
Mm.
in our last webinar, and we'll be sure to include a link to that in our follow-up email in case you missed that one and want to learn more about integrating LearnDash and MemberPress. But back on these settings, you then can choose prerequisites for your course. If they have to complete something before they can complete this course, you can assign points to the course that they would receive, and then also expiration. If you want the course to only be available for a certain period of time, then you would want to toggle that switch right there, and then it'll give you some other options for how you can set up the expiration. Um,
Cool.
the course navigation settings, you can determine if you want students to progress through the lessons in any order that they want, which is the freeform setting, or the linear setting if you want to require them to complete a lesson before they can get to the next lesson, and so on and so on. So that's another important consideration that you want to check for your settings. The course grid is is how this course is going to display on your page where you list all your courses. We do have now we activated the course grid plugin. So if you're not seeing this in your settings, go into the feature add-on library and make sure you've got the course grid activated. And here you can change some specific settings for how this course displays within of courses. Now, a lot of times the the basic or default settings will work for a lot of courses, but this is where you're going to come to make changes and set things up specifically for this one particular course. And if you have any questions, we've kind of gone through this rather quickly. We don't have a lot of time. So if you have questions, you can reach out to support or feel free to email me directly, Katy at rainmakerdigital.com, and we'll help you with various settings. that basically covers the settings for a course.
Sounds great. Thanks, Katie. We can move on from here now. We can go ahead and save this. Up at the top of the page over on the right here, you'll see a button. It says update here because our course already existed. If we were making this new, it would say publish. Before we publish our course, we want to make sure that all of our settings are the way that we'd like to have them. You know, something like only visible to enrollees, especially if the course is still in progress. You know, and we could like make the course closed if we wanted to make sure that only admins could access it for now. But I have the settings the way that I'd like them. I'm just going to click update there, and it's going to make sure that everything is saved. Now that it's saved, we can go ahead and dig into our lessons. We're going to edit our lessons, just the first one for sake of time, and as soon as this finishes updating, I'll be able to show you where we would click into the lesson here. Here we go. It's going to take just a second to save all of that. A lot of information here. There we go. And if you're, because I ran into this the other day, if you're concerned that you can't click anything here, it's just because it's still actually saving. So there we go. Now I can click this edit button on the lesson. So you'll see if I mouse over the lesson or the topic or any of those pieces, there's a little edit button over here on the right. There's also a remove button if I want to get rid of it. But we're going to click the edit button here. And it just so happens that, oh, come on. There we go. There we go. So I have, again, Martha Stewart, turn around, pull it out of the oven. Balance. This first lesson. So there's content in here already, but I can adjust it if I'd like. Again, same editor you've seen all over Rainmaker Platform. I can click Update to save my work over here on the right if I make any changes, and then we can move on to the settings. So again, all the content's here. If you want to make any edits, it's pretty easy. Same as before. So settings, Katie, what do I need to know for this one?
Yeah, a lot of similar settings here. I mean, you can add specific materials just for this one lesson, using that toggle switch. But there's also some additional things here as well. You can embed a video into the course progression, so you require them to watch a video before they can progress to the next lesson. You also have a topic timer if you want to activate that, so that they are required to spend a certain amount of time before the lesson can be marked complete. And if you want them to be able to upload assignments for the lesson, click that slider, and that will add an assignments upload feature to the lesson, and they'll upload the assignment to you. And you'll be able to then, you can say whether or not it's going to auto approve or manually approve. If it requires manual approval, then you have to go in and approve it. And in the meantime, it'll show on their lesson that it's waiting approval. It's a pretty cool feature.
Yep.
And we already set up the topic access settings, so you can see it's already associated with the fundamentals of basketball shooting course. If you want to make this particular lesson open as a sample lesson so that people can kind of get a taste test of what your course is like, and that's where you can turn that feature on. And then you can tie lessons to specific timings. So you can drip them out based on a registration date, a certain number of days after registration date, or on a specific date, so everyone would gain access at a specific time. So lots of features there. And then you can add the table of contents in the course grid settings. So add a short description, the video if you want, anything that you want to add there.
Same as we did on the other one, right? Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm going to set this one up as a sample lesson because I want people to see that I know what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to go ahead and click update here, and that'll update the lesson. And they have access immediately, so they can see the lesson content the moment they enroll. So save and publish there. Again, it says update because it already exists. If we were creating a new lesson from scratch, it would say publish. So just be aware of that distinction, but it is the same button. Finally, we're going to show off, last but not least, the quizzes. Now, our quiz page is going to be a little bit different to our lessons and our courses and our topics. I have a list of questions here that I'll need to build, and we'll have to do that with the builder. There we go. It's finished saving. So let me go ahead and click this tab over here to get into the quizzes. So we have here our final shooting exam. So on this quiz page, I can add content. I can say, here is the final exam for the jump shooting course. Bam. And that'll show up, with the quiz. So with the builder here, this is where we actually add our questions for the quiz. And I haven't actually built out our questions here because I want you to see what goes into making a question when we create one. So let me grab my question text here. So I'm going to add my question text. What does the B in beef stand for? We just saw it. It's balance. So I'm going to add that as a question. And it'll take a second for it to upload. Again, it takes a minute for most of these things to add because there are a lot of variables behind the scenes that it has to manage. You've seen that in the settings. There's plenty that it needs to think about when it saves. There we go. So there's my question. You can see it has a little warning next to it. The question's empty. Click here to edit it. I can add a little bit of extra content to this if I want to. This is the first letter of the beef acronym. Easy enough. I can go ahead and save that extra information. Which will take just a second. And you'll notice here with the questions, there's actually quite a number of options that you can have here. So I'm going to click on the question settings. So I can do messages for correct answers, messages for incorrect answers. I can add a hint if I want to. Depends how hard you want the course to be. Or if it's like a very serious, like, no, you must pass this to get to the next section. But yeah, let me.
And there's also a variety of types of questions. So here, these are all by default. They're a single question type question, but you can change that. See, it's a single choice, I should say.
Yeah.
When you're up in the top right corner of it, but you can change that to be multiple choice, or there's like 5 or 6 different options for types of questions.
Yeah. So where's the spot to change that again? Oh yeah, that's right. Up here. So single choice, multiple choice, free choice sorting. I mean, there's quite a number of things here. So I'm going to say this is a pretty easy one. I'm just going to say balance, update answer. There we go. And I mark that this is the correct answer. And then I'll add in a couple of other answers. So I'll say, I don't know, just a couple of other random B words. There we go. So now it'll show up and it'll have a couple of different choices, and there's one correct choice. That's the single choice. There we go. Go ahead, Katy.
Yeah, let me add one quick note here. I believe that where you have the Q, what does the B in beef stand for? I believe that is an internal notation as to what the question is, and the actual question that will display to the student is the next this is the first letter of the beep. So actually that needs to be the question for the student.
Ah, okay. Yep. So I got that in reverse. Thank you, Katie.
So you can give it a different label just for your internal reference.
Whoop. I've selected the whole screen, but you get the idea. Catastrophe. There we go. And I'll go ahead and rename the question. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep, this is why I have the expert on the call with me. She's better at this stuff than I am.
I don't know about expert, but
there we go. All right.
We try.
All right. So next, settings, Katie. What do we need to know about the settings here? I mean, there's a lot to go over.
Yeah, there are a ton, and we're not going to go through all of them. You can set specific passing scores or associate a certificate just for this quiz. You can limit the number of times they retake it. There are time limits you can give them to take the test. You can require it so that they don't have to answer every question. There are a lot of tooltips on the screen. If you see the little question mark circle, you can click on that and it'll give you some more information about the various settings. We don't really have time to go through all the settings, but the options that you have for these quizzes are pretty good in terms of being able to put together some pretty robust quizzes for your students.
Cool. And actually, I'm going to show you guys something in a second that will help with that. So I'm going to go ahead and click Update there to make sure that everything's saved for this quiz. You'll notice up here in the top left corner, there's a little thing that says Back to Quizzes. We've got a few different back buttons in here, so you can back out all the way of this. And I'm going to show you there's a place where you can actually find a ton of help for any of your LearnDash needs. And again, we're here to help you if you want to talk to support, if you want to talk to Katy directly. But there's also quite a bit of information here. So I'm going to, as soon as this comes back, I'm going to go back to quizzes. And then from there, I'm going to go back till I get to the LearnDash overview. All right. I mean, we didn't have time to build out every single topic, question, and quiz in detail, but it's going to look professional when we go ahead and preview it. So let me go ahead and just pull up that in another tab. So we'll go ahead and put that on while it's computing over here. So we'll go back to overview. So again, I hit the top left, I was in the quizzes. You can do it from any of the sections in your LearnDash quizzes, lessons, topics, courses. You click back in that upper left, and then you click back again to get to the overview. And this has literally pretty much everything you'd ever want to know about LearnDash. All sorts of tips, ways to sell online courses, different announcements, documentation, everything's here. So if you're a little stuck, go ahead and check that out. And then here, go ahead.
Just scroll. I was just going to say, if you would scroll down, that's okay. You can stay on this screen. There's direct links to documentation for various topics and tips and tricks, and lots of documentation available right here in the admin.
Yep. All right, so here we have our finalized course. And you can see it looks professional. You've got a % completion, the number of steps. You can see our course content right here. There's some materials with links. You can see I can expand this topic, and see everything under here, and I can click into them and see those courses and topics and lessons. And there's the final shooting exam and everything. Yep. So that's our course. I mean, that's how simple it is. I mean, there's a lot of settings and things that you can mess with, and a lot more detail you can get into. But building a course is really not that hard. And it looks really professional when it's done. I did basketball. You know, you can do anything you want. It's a course just like any other one you could build yourself. So that takes care of everything that we have material wise for this. We do have at least a couple of questions here. Let's go ahead and handle the ones that we had in advance first, Katie. Let me see here. I don't know if you've got that right at your fingertips. There we go. So, can I edit LearnDash pages with Beaver Builder?
Yes, you can. There's a setting in Beaver Builder to activate that feature for LearnDash. So all you have to do is go activate Beaver Builder, go to the Beaver Builder settings, activate LearnDash, and you'll be able to make beautiful courses with Beaver Builder.
Cool. And can I add a sidebar with the course menu?
Yes, absolutely. There are several LearnDash widgets, so you can create a custom sidebar and add a course navigation, a progress bar, course list, a certificate list. There's several things you can add to a sidebar.
What about if I have a course in another LMS, can I migrate it over to LearnDash?
I think that the question that
Oh,
came
yes.
in
Yep.
was specific to the Rainmaker Platform
Yep.
LMS
You're correct. You're correct.
coming into LearnDash, and they are two different systems that aren't compatible. So unfortunately, there's not an automated migration path for those LMS into LearnDash. You'll have to manually transfer the content over to LearnDash, but you can have both systems active at the same time, so you can migrate them over, as your time permits. And if you want our help with migrating content over also, we're happy to talk with you about that as well as for a project.
Cool. There's a couple other questions here. Let's see. Does my website need to be running Andromeda to use LearnDash? I think I can actually get this one. It does, as I mentioned at the start. But we can get you migrated over pretty quickly. You can migrate a clone of the live site over to Andromeda as a dry run, and you need to make the request. Where do they put the request in for that, Katie?
That can be either just through contacting support, or you can go to rainmakerdigital.com/migrate, and there's a form you can fill out there, and we'll get your migration to Andromeda started off.
Cool. And another one that we had here. Do you recommend the LearnDash mobile app?
Well, I don't believe we have that plug platform. We can add plugins to individual sites through a technical discovery process. So if there are like LearnDash Mobile or other LearnDash add-ons or plugins that you're interested in, just reach out to me directly, or you can contact support, and we can talk with you about what that entails.
Cool. And I see there's one more here that's come in. Basically says if the course is linear, can students visit completed elements in any order? I'm not 100% on that. Do you know, Katie?
I'm not 100% either. I do know if it's linear, you're not going to be able to go through the next lesson until it is completed. But I'm going to have to research that. My
Okay.
assumption would be once you've completed it, you can go back through any order. But I don't
Yep.
like to assume. So Fred, we'll get the answer to that, and we'll let you know. We can include that also in our email when we send out the
Yep.
link to this, so that
Yes.
everyone will have that answer.
Sounds good. Yep. I can make sure that goes in there. All right. And if we have, I don't see any other questions here. We're a little bit over. But yeah, we had some good response here, and it's been great. Thank you all for tuning in, and thanks, Katie, for your help here. Appreciate it, as always.
My pleasure. Thank you, David.
And if you want to learn more again, contact us and we'll give you a hand. Don't forget, we'll be sending out a link to this video after the fact for those of you who want to review, or if you know somebody who missed it. Again, the link will be available. We'll have those resources that we mentioned in that email as well. We're here to help. We want to make sure that you have the tools that you need to succeed with Rainmaker Platform. So thanks for tuning in today, and have a great day. Bye now.
All right. Bye, everybody.